It's the TTP podcast now. Tune in for the real talk. Hear them open hearts on.
All right, so our opening scripture is going to come from Isaiah 40 and 31. And it reads, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint."
1, 2, 3. We back.
Hey.
We back. We back. We back. Y'all.
What is going on? What is going on? So as you can see, we are visual. Listen, this is ground zero. I'm gonna be 100% on. This is ground zero. We in our living room.
Putting face to the voices.
with nice white wall. Eventually, we gonna get some stuff behind here. Maybe do an action or something.
Look,
I'm leading up to my baby. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I'm still in the process of trying to decorate our house. Okay, y'all. So bear with us. Bear with us.
We're gonna get this space together. So we want to thank you all for sticking in there with us and all the people that have come forth and say, "Hey, when are you coming back? We miss y'all so much." It's been over 2 years now, and I take full responsibility. Full responsibility. She been on me saying, "Babe, we need to get back to it. We need to get back to it." Well, we back to it.
I'm glad you're taking some accountability
We back
because
to it.
I was gonna be like, y'all, it wasn't me, it was him. It wasn't me, it was him. Cause I've been on his behind like white on rice. I was about to say something else. Like white on rice. Trying to get him to come with me and get this stuff popping. I already got topics and everything I want to talk about. I already had everything planned out. I just needed him to get the camera and the lights and stuff together so he could start. I can't do the TTP podcast without the second half.
This is true. This is true.
The title of today's episode is Rediscovering Purpose After a Pause.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot we did that. That is good. That's good.
It's gonna be good.
That'll preach,
Yeah.
but I ain't gonna preach it. I'm gonna just talk about it, okay?
We're gonna leave the preaching up to Bishop Keverick Wiggins. Shout out to Freedom Church Houston. Love y'all.
Y'all will be seeing
Love y'all.
Y'all will be seeing our Bishop and First Lady on one of these episodes in the near
Yes,
future.
we are gonna try to get them on the episode. So Bishop, First Lady, I know y'all watching. Be prepared to be called.
All right. So pretty much what we're going to run down is what has been going on. Where has Josh and Faith been? Why the 2-year hiatus? So just to put it out there, I'm just going ahead and get out the way. We broke up, y'all. I'm sorry. It happened. We separated. We thought we weren't going to get back together. It was just... I'm sorry.
This ring ain't going nowhere, baby. This ain't going nowhere. So,
Okay.
all you single ladies, don't
right,
get too excited because he locked down. Okay.
I'm sorry.
He ain't going nowhere, and I ain't going nowhere. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, so much has happened within these last 2 years. I do believe our last episode we did with you guys, we were parents of only 2 little boys. And your girl gave birth to another one. We have 3 beautiful little boys now. We got a whole 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 10-month-old. How did that happen? How? And they all boys. Who? If you would have told me I was gonna be a full-on boy mom before I started having kids, I would have probably slapped you because I just knew. I just knew that I was gonna have a little girl. But the Lord was like, "No, here's your boys." So. And I love my sons. I love my babies. Even though they look a lot like this one, I still love my babies.
Hey, at least you know they're handsome. You know, but no, in all seriousness, picking up where we left off, everybody that watched from my previous job, I am no longer there. I got promoted to I would say, kind of my dream job in my field. I'm now doing marketing at PVAMU. All my TSU people, I know. I went to Texas Southern, but now I work at PV. Listen. Don't charge it to me right now, okay? We'll talk about that later. But it was a move that needed to happen. She can tell you that last job really took a toll on me mentally. I developed a strong sense of anxiety just being at that job. I became a very anxious person because I'm non-confrontational, and being around that environment, trying to one, not have my name tarnished, but also try to defend myself around people that's constantly trying to throw dirt on your name. It did not help. It did not help at all. And she saw the repercussions of that, of me coming home stressed every day. And I was like, babe, I need something different. Like I can't do this anymore. And she was pregnant, and she was like, well, I can't really help it as much as I want to.
I was stressed at the same time.
It was a whirlwind of many different things. And what honestly got me through and was my faith. And I was really, really, really depending on God to pull us through. And I was like, I don't care what it is or what happens. I just need something different.
Yeah.
And I said, if you tell me to go and shift, I'm going to shift. If it's more money, if it's less money, I'm going to shift. And that's exactly what I did. I left for just pennies on the dollar more than what I was making. And I was content. I wasn't like, okay, this is gonna be my forever. But once I left, I prayed about it, and I was grateful. And I thank God every single day. Every day I went to that new job saying, thank you for taking me out of this situation. It could be a lot worse. Thank you for this opportunity. And I wasn't even at that job a good month before I got a phone call from the job that I'm at now saying, hey, sorry for the delay. We had XYZ going on, but we want to bring you in for a second interview. Oh, you don't say. Second interview happened, got offered the job right on the spot. She can tell you that happens more often than I take credit for. But that gives like a general synopsis of what was going on with me and why the podcast did not continue. Yes, I do all the behind the scenes of the editing, putting stuff together, and all the other jazz. So she was right. Like, she cannot do the TTP podcast without her other half. Now, she could have easily said, okay, babe, show me how to edit. But you weren't going to get this version of Josh, what you get now. You'd have got like a, hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? I would have been, honestly, I would have been faking it. Like, my focus was not on this, and I wouldn't have been 100% like genuinely myself.
Yeah, as much as I wanted to start right away, and as much as I wanted to just go ahead and get the content out to you guys, we really couldn't do it because he just wasn't himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't himself for a long time, and quite honestly, I wasn't either. Throughout this whole time now, he gave y'all his perspective, but mine, I have, throughout these last 2 years, I have still been a stay-at-home mom. That hasn't changed other than me having a whole nother baby, which, in fact, was a whole surprise. Was an entire, huge surprise. But we'll talk about, we'll go deep and talk about all of that in another episode. But it wasn't just him that was kind of spiraling and falling apart a little bit in a sense. It was me too, because we were in a situation where we were just, everything was just not where it should be at all. Like, I'm not even claiming that that's where we were supposed to be, because I don't believe it was. We were just in a really bad space, in a really bad position. Now, of course, we made sure that our children stayed as happy as they could be, but the two of us, we weren't. It was causing trouble between the two of us. We were arguing and stuff a lot more. I was pissed off all the time on top of being pregnant. So my ladies that has had children, you already know how that goes. Your hormones are already on 10, and then you add all this extra stuff on top. And I'm already, y'all already know I have a strong personality already. And
it was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. I don't know how I survived it, man. This girl was tripping. She started throwing stuff at me. And then she said, I'm going to gut you. And I'm like, please don't
I did not say I was going to. Okay, so
and then she said, "I'm gonna run you over with the car." Like, Jesus, don't let her run me over with the car. I don't know what I would do. Oh my Lord.
This is the version of him, the silly version. Y'all wouldn't have been able to see because he is over exaggerating. It wasn't that bad, but it was a couple times where I was like, "Nigga, go sleep on the couch. I don't want you in the bed." Granted, he didn't listen.
How mad you is at me? I ain't sleeping on no couch.
He didn't listen, like I said, but it was a couple of those nights where I was like, "Do not touch me." Pillow border in between us. Don't touch me.
But some way she still found herself over next to me because she cannot go to sleep unless some part of her body is touching me. Right or wrong?
I plead the fifth.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
Anyway, no, so throughout all of this, I was still being a stay-at-home mom, trying to just function through all of this. And then at this point in time, I also was planning on, I had finally come to the conclusion that I was like, okay, now I'm about to work on myself. This is before I found out that I was pregnant with our third son. I was like, I'm about to work on myself, about to do this, I'm about to do this, and the third, which we'll talk about later. But as soon as I finally started to take the first steps to what I wanted to do, I found out that I was pregnant with our third son. And that completely broke me. Josh should tell you when I found out it wasn't a good reaction on my end. But I finally came through it, and then my entire pregnancy was just, it was very traumatic for me in a lot of ways. I went through a lot of stuff, going through seizures. I started having seizures out of nowhere. My blood pressure spiked, so I'm taking seizure medicine. I'm taking blood pressure medicine. I'm told I can't drive. I wasn't driving for like 6 months. And then on top of that, I'm trying to hold it all together because he is still spiraling, trying to figure out how to take care of all of us and everything. And then on top of that, I'm going through that. So then he's worried about all of that on top of that. And then on top of that, I have to make sure I hold myself together enough to watch our two sons that we have here with us already while he's at work, but mama is feeling like she about to go run and jump down the stairs because it was a lot. It was a whole lot. So it wasn't just like we didn't want to talk to you guys and we didn't want to reach out to you guys. We really did. I know I really did, because for us, I know for me, doing this podcast and talking to you guys was literally a sense of therapy for me. And quite honestly, when we were doing the first season of the TTP podcast, I felt like it was a source of therapy for the both of us, because even in that point, we were going through some stuff. And literally, there's an episode from the two of us, which is actually our very last episode that we recorded. It just never got out to you guys, but
somehow messed up and we couldn't use it. Like, it was
completely gone.
Well, it wasn't gone. It's just somehow that's when our equipment. That's another thing too. Our equipment at the time was very jank. Like, you really couldn't tell.
Garbage.
You couldn't tell about how we pieced it all together. But back to that episode, we really discussed a lot. Like, we both cried in that episode. Like, it was some hard-hitting stuff that she was expressing to me, how she was feeling about everything, and it just never saw the light of day. And I still to this day tell her, I was like, that was God's way of letting us have a breakthrough together. I feel like that was an intimate moment that
it wasn't meant for everybody.
Shared with everybody.
It
now,
wasn't.
I know you all would have appreciated it, but I was grateful for that moment, for one, opening me up to be more subjective to communication. All my fellas know that we're not taught to express our feelings and express how we feel, put it in basic terms. Always been like, okay, cool, it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna talk to you, you gonna say your piece, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna keep it pushing. or she'll ask me what's wrong. Oh, nothing. I'm fine. I'm good. And even though in the inside I'm screaming for help, but I'm not gonna let you know that because I gotta be a man. I gotta be I gotta be tough. But that's not that's not what she's that's not what she's here for. She's here to be my helpmate. So I'm going to, if I can't rely on her and lean on her when I'm feeling down or I need that support, then what's the point? So in that conversation, it did show me that okay, I can actually confide in you, and you're not going to use that against me later on. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen from talking to some of my male friends and some of my colleagues throughout the years, where they feel like, oh, if I express this, I seem weak, and she's going to use that against me in an argument or we're having a discussion about something. And I told him, I was like, you got to express yourself to her and let her know, hey, I'm going to let my guard down. And if you use this against me, you can wrap it up. Like I'm never going to confide in you ever again. Like until I die, you can hang it up. And I hate that we are wired like that, but
Yeah.
that's how we have been taught. And I've been teaching my sons to one, excuse me, one to express yourselves, but it doesn't have to be in a way to where you feel like they're not being boys at the end of the day, if that makes sense. Like my oldest son, he's our sensitive one, and
Very emotional.
my middle child is the one that has like my stubborn and just like personality. So as a kid, I was emotional, but I also had a very bad attitude, and it's like it's split between the both of them. So I know how to deal with my oldest son. Like, hey man, I understand that you're upset. I understand that your feelings hurt. But look, it's okay to cry. But remember, you cry for these reasons. And slowly, it's not as bad as it used to be. Slowly, he's getting it. Yes, I'm glad that he's went to school because he has a better perspective of seeing other kids and how they operate. So now he gets it. And then with my middle child, he's still, whew,
He's
Jesus,
three.
he's three.
His baby number 2. So for all my parents that have more than one child, you already know.
Yeah.
It's something about that second child where they come through and they start busting doors open like they the Joker.
Yep.
Basically, he's Mr. I run this in here.
And then even with him being 3 and he still has that toddler talk, he's very alert. He understands everything you're saying. And I just have to take it slowly and explain, hey son, listen, I know you're mad. I know you're upset. And he's still trying to figure out how to process his emotions. And she can tell you, like, he can be here with her and he'll throw a whole fit. And she go in there and say, I need you, and he gonna throw that fit. If I'm here and I go in and I talk to him, it's just like that. It's instant. Like
he's getting better with me.
Yes, he is.
He's getting better with me, but it's way different when Josh is at home. Yeah. But I mean, granted, all of those emotions too. It's not so much one sided because a lot of that stuff comes from me as well. Me being when people first see me, they don't know it unless you really get to know me, but I'm actually a very emotional person. Granted, the way that I handle it is a completely different way because of just how I was raised and things like that. I didn't necessarily have the opportunity to be as emotional and vulnerable as I wanted to as a little girl, but so it kind of made a barrier on me, and I think that's another reason why God blessed us with 3 little boys, because he was just like, say, baby girl, you you don't know what you're doing, and I'm not about to give you a little girl to mess up as well because you still got some work to do. And so that toughness, I think that I have, it helps with me having 3 sons, but at the same time, a lot of times I have to remind myself, I was literally just talking to my best friend about this today. A lot of times I have to remind myself, hey, don't be so tough on them. Yes, they're boys, but they need hugs too. So I'm trying to bring it down and come here, okay, come give mommy a hug. I know it's okay. It's gonna be fine, and kind of talk them through it. But still, I'm still like, okay, look, we not crying because you don't want to share your toys. We're not doing that.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
But and then with our second child, he is just I feel like everything that I held on inside, all of that anger and just wanting to just bust out and throw stuff at everything, the things that I wasn't able to kind of go through that process and express because of how I was raised, and I had to hold all of that in. I feel like he is the depiction of all of that, just times 10.
And we'll just give you like a small glimpse of how our kids are, how they're doing, and how it's being reflective of us as parents. Like, we're still trying to figure this thing out together.
We don't know what we're doing, y'all.
There's no handbook, and both of our childhood experience. Like, you ask our family, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're fine. You were
fine. Y'all doing good."
But they don't understand a lot of the trauma and some of the generational curses that was passed down from generation to generation that we're trying to break. And like I explained to my wife, when it comes to holidays, even though holidays right around the corner, I want to start my own holidays. Like, yes, we can go out and be with family and everything, but why can't we have Thanksgiving here? Why can't we have Christmas here? Like, I want to break ties with family, not all the way, but let my kids experience something different. Okay, mom and daddy had Thanksgiving at home. Mom and dad had Christmas at home. Like, when they wake up in the morning, I want them to see a Christmas tree. Like, I remember as a kid, waking up at home seeing a Christmas tree, and then eventually it changed to where everybody wants to have Christmas brunch, and then you brought your toys and presents over there. Or if we had Thanksgiving, it wasn't a Thanksgiving dinner, it was like a Thanksgiving potluck. And I was like, I don't want my kids to experience that. I want them to have fond memories, like when we're doing that, and when it comes to taking trips and other stuff. But that's what the premise of what I wanted our children to experience. And I feel like this break and this hiatus is what we're calling it. Let our kids experience that. They got a better version of us than what it could have been. If we would have poured our all into this, I feel like we would have neglected a lot of those key memories and key points, because we would have been trying to force this to get to a status or a point of where we want it to be. And now we're just doing this for documentation to say, hey kids, look what mom and dad did. Look what they have put out into the world. And this is more so a diary versus us trying to get famous for it. And we never wanted to get fame from it. I'm gonna be honest with you, we did want to make the money from it, but that's not the overall goal or
that's not the purpose
objective
of it anymore. I feel like in moving towards our topic, which is how to just basically redirecting redirecting into purpose after a pause.
Yes.
With that redirection, I feel like this break has this pause and this break has given us time to really open up our eyes onto what our intentions and what our goal is coming out of having these conversations and stuff on camera. I know for me, for a long time, I always felt kind of just like muffled. And, well, not muffled, but muzzled. Feeling like I can't say this because I have this person watching, or I can't show this side of myself because I don't know if everybody is ready for that, or I don't know if it's okay for me to show that because I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. But for me, this pause has shown me and helped me kind of gain some more of my confidence back. Now, it's still something that I deal with very heavily, and it's still something that is still a big struggle for me. But I have finally gotten to a place to where I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to speak my truth, and I'm going to be honest about it, about how I feel, what happened to me, what I feel like happened to me, how my perspective on things. I'm not holding anything back. You might hear a curse word or two every now and then. Okay, I'm trying to handle it. I'm trying to get it together, but it might slip out a little bit. But I just and but shut up.
Hey, I was being honest,
But
man.
oh my gosh. But anyway, not only did this pause help me with that, but it also put me in a position to where I was like, okay, I keep asking Josh to hurry up, come on, let's start recording again, let's do this, come on, I already have the conversations that I want to have, I already have the topics, I have all of this, I have merch ideas, I have this, I have that. And I'm just like, I went to God and I'm like, well, Lord, why is he dragging his feet on this? Like, what is it? Why is it that it seems like I want to do this so much more than he does? And it had to be brought to my attention that, well, one thing that was brought to my attention is my level of codependence to my husband is extremely high, extremely high. And God had to sit me back and let me know, like, look, I hear you. Daughter, I hear you. And I know as much as you want to do this with your husband, right now you have to find yourself. And there's still something that I'm still doing till this day, till this very moment. Is still trying to find myself and figure out where I fit in the world, because since we've been married for the past 8 years, guys, it's been 8 years. We've been married for 8 years. And in these past 8 years, I have this man right here has taken care of me.
Oh.
The entire 8 years has completely taken care of me. And not only that, but we had children and he's been taking care of me and our children as well. And in the midst of that, I turned into a stay-at-home mom, not working, just wrapping my whole head. And people would come and ask me, Faith, who are you? Tell us about yourself. Who are you? And I'm like, well, I'm a wife. I'm happily married. I've been married for however long at the time. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a mom of boys. And that would literally be all I had to say. I didn't have anything else to say. And it would make me feel really uncomfortable to the point to where I wouldn't even try like joining mom groups and meeting new people and stuff like that and stepping out of my comfort zone, because I didn't want to deal with the conviction of I'm nobody outside of, I don't know who I am outside of being a wife and a mom. And with us starting this podcast again and starting back with talking to you guys, the reason why I'm so excited about it is because I actually found my purpose in it. And my purpose for me is reaching out to other women that are in similar situations or are in the same situations. There are so many stay-at-home moms out there. There's so many moms in general, so many wives in general that have wrapped themselves up in the world of being a wife and a mom, and it's taken a toll on them to the point to where they don't even know who they are outside of this. Like, I told my best friend the other day as well, like, if without Josh and the boys, I have no idea what I want to do. If everything was to just flip, if my world was to flip upside down today, I have no idea what I would be doing outside of being a wife and a mother to my kids. And having these conversations and doing this and talking about these different things that we'll be talking about and sharing these stories that we'll be sharing, I felt like this was my purpose. Me opening my mouth and speaking up and letting people know, hey, you're not by yourself. Yes, I'm at this point and I'm speaking about it, but baby girl, I'm still trying to figure it out. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure this out while we're in the process. So while you guys are watching us, I'm in the process of figuring all of this out myself. I'm still learning myself. I'm 28 years old. I don't have a college degree. I have 3 children, and I've been happily married for the last 8 years. Yes, the majority of that seems extremely happy, but the small stuff is what means a lot to me as well. And so now I'm just really at the point of finding myself, finding what else outside of this, finding what else it is that I want to do, what else it is that I really am passionate about, because I've never been a person to just be able to get up and do something. Oh, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it just to do it. I've never been that type of person, and anything that I've tried to do like that never worked. It has to be something that I actually care about in order for it to work, in order for me to be successful in it, in order for me to be able to do it and not want to pull my hair out while doing it.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a big part of kind of redirecting myself into my purpose after this pause.
Yeah. That was good, man. That was good. That was real good right there. For me, trying to find my purpose within all of this was extremely challenging. From a man's perspective, you have to go through so many things as far as putting yourself last and just being okay with sacrificing the stuff that you want and need, or sometimes like they not even just wants and needs, just you just get comfortable making sure that your family is okay. If your family is okay, then at the end of the day, you really don't care about nothing else. Like nothing else really matters at that point. Okay, all right, kids got food, everything's paid for, life is good. Okay, all right, this is good over here. This is good over here. All right. Oh, my wife said she wanted this bag or this these pair of shoes or something like that. Like, let me go out here and get it. And you're so focused on doing all of these things, and at the same time, you're not remembering, hey man, take care of yourself. Make sure you good. Make sure you all right. Yeah, everything your wife is doing is contributing, but you're still missing that sense of self and sense of peace. And it literally kicked me in the face to the point to where I had to sit down for a while because I was just running. And like she said, for the past 8 years, all I've been doing is running nonstop, making sure everybody else is okay,
Taking care of everybody else.
except myself. And this this break has really helped me, and I'm still learning how to do things for myself. She can tell you now, like when it comes to buying stuff for myself or doing things for myself, I'm still it's still hard for me.
This man had money and everything for his birthday, and he still went out and bought everybody else something but himself for his birthday. And I fussed at him, and I'm like, dude, this is your birthday. This is your money. Take this. Don't worry about everything else. Everything else is fine. I don't need anything. The boys don't need anything. Go and get yourself something. He comes home with stuff for the boys. And I think you got something for me as well.
I did.
And I was just like, dude.
I did.
I mean, thank you. I'm not going to tell you to take it back. But dude, like, where's your stuff for yourself? I'm like, what did you get for yourself?
Yeah, it's still honestly, it still is a challenge for me because at the end of the day, I find joy in seeing the joy in double entendre, joy. Anyways, it makes me happy to see my family happy. And literally, people can tell you now, our kids are spoiled. It's not like a beyond spoiled where they get everything they want, but
they have a lot of what they want.
They have a lot of what
and
they
a
want.
lot of unnecessary stuff.
And I told myself, like, if my kids ask for it, I'm going to make sure that I can do any and everything in my power to make sure they have it because I didn't have that growing up as a kid. I'm grateful for the childhood I have, and it helped mold me somewhat into the man that I am today. But I told myself my kids are not going to see struggle. Now they may not know everything, they might not see the circumstances, but they're in a good house, a very good house. We'll tell y'all later on in a different episode of where we transition to. um, but no, just to break it down for all of the men out there to see how can you navigate in still trying to find yourself in the midst of still going through trying to help support your family and sacrificing everything when it comes to money, time, patience, like just almost depleting yourself. And what helped me was one, constantly every single day, every single morning, I always have a sense of devotion and just prayer. And my car rides and journeys at the time was 45 minutes from home to work. Within that 45 minutes, that was my sense of peace, of just talking to God and seeing how can I make my situation better. And he revealed to me, he was like, hey man, you got everything you asked for. And in that moment, I was like, you're right. This is everything that I asked for. And my prayer life had to shift because I was praying. I'm just give you like a general synopsis prayer. I was praying for my family, saying, Lord, make my family better, give us perfect peace. Lord, make today a blessed, safe, and productive day. Lord, bless me financially. Like it was just like this
Vague.
overall vague thing. My family was good. My days were long and plentiful. Like it was a successful. Literally, he was giving me everything I asked for.
Exactly what you asked
So
for.
yes, my day was successful, but it dawned on me. Okay, yeah, you want to be successful. You gonna work from the time you get here to the time you leave, and then probably when you go home, you still gonna be working. So it took me being more direct and
Specific.
actually being specific on what I wanted and what I desired, and I had to come in and pray for forgiveness and say I'm sorry for these selfish prayers that I've been praying, because it was more of me asking versus me saying thank you and being grateful for the opportunities and the blessings that I had. Like I really didn't have to worry about anything. Roof over my head, food in the fridge, food in the pantry, lights in it. Life was good. Life is good, and I'm still grateful to this day. So, fellas, if you're praying, be more specific. Uh, say, Lord, give me financial wisdom. Lord, help me to become a better man in managing my time better. Lord, help me to become a better man when it comes to as far as finding inner peace, self peace within me. Like, be more specific, man. Like, it's going to change. It literally is going to change. Like, you may feel like you're on your wits' end. I was at that point where I feel like I was on my wits' end and trying to do everything for everybody else. And it's like, when's my turn? But my wife is saying, when is it her turn? So I was like, babe, look, go, do you, go. And I'm like, putting myself still on the back burner. And God's like, that's not what I told you to do. Your house is never going to be in order until you lead. So once I started to say, okay, babe, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working towards. And she was like, okay, go ahead. Then he started to dwindle down and work through her. And she was like, hey, babe, I think I want to do this. I have this business. I'm not going to tell you what our business idea is because I don't got jacking our businesses. But I have this business idea. I have this and this. And it slowly started to work. So once you let God in completely and lead your household and let him order your steps and guide you through what you need to do, then you will find that peace. You will literally find inner peace. And this break slash this hiatus or whatever we calling it now has literally helped me tremendously in that area because I was drowning. I'm not gonna be sitting here and lie to you. I was drowning in it, and I saw no way out. Like I was stressing over the things that my kids didn't have. It's crazy because I was actually sitting there in church one Sunday, stressing over the things that my kids did not have, but they technically had everything that they needed. Like I looked down at my son, I was like, dang man, I wish you had more shoes. Not knowing that this boy got 4 or 5 more pairs of shoes at home. That's just the shoes that he decided to wear that day. Yeah, they may have been dirty or whatever the case may be, but those were his favorite shoes and he liked wearing them. So that's the shoes he put on that day to go to church. I'm sitting, I was like, hey man, you need more shoes. I got to get to the house, and it's just rattling and rattling and rattling to where I didn't even have peace at church. And that, for me, that has always been my safe haven. My home and church has always been my safe haven. And literally, Bishop called me up to the altar and was like, hey man, you have to stop worrying about the things that you can't provide or your kids don't have at this very moment. If you don't, like, I didn't tell him these things. It's just something that he saw in me. And then I can always confide in him anytime I have an issue. Yes, I know me personally. I don't have that many guy friends. It's slowly getting there. It's getting better. It is. I'm becoming more social. But
I'm trying.
I know when I do reach out to my pastor, he's always there to lend a helping hand because it's like, man, I've been in your shoes. I know exactly what you're going through. And I greatly appreciate him for that because I don't have that. My dad's gone. I don't have that father figure where I can look up to. Not saying that he's like a father figure. I ain't trying to call you old. But he's a man that I can actually call and just, hey, man, I need some advice. I need some help with this. Just to sum it all up, fellas, like, trust me, it's going to get better. You're going to find that peace. And you can't spend your days fighting with your wife. Because if you spend more time fighting and going against the grain, you're never going to find that peace. You have to find that common ground to where, okay, I need to figure out why she's upset versus adding more fuel to the fire. You're not coming home to dysfunction for no reason. Where's that dysfunction starting? When you find the root of the problem, you fix it. You pray about it, you ask for guidance, and then you fix it. Because if you're coming home and your wife is upset, instead of saying, hey, you always mad. Yes, every time I come home, it's always an issue. I can never have... Pump your brakes. Give you an example. Walk in the house, Bae's upset. Hey, Bae, how was your day? How's it going?
I'm all right.
Why are you just all right? What's going on?
I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it.
You want to talk about it?
No.
All right. Are you hungry? Did you eat?
I ate a little bit earlier, but that's it.
What time was earlier? Was that this morning?
I don't remember why you keep asking me all these questions.
So see how she's being very defensive? I already know from that tone, them kids whooped her behind her. They tossed her upside down, but that took time to get to that point. And I already know. So what I do. Because at that point when I'm talking to her, I still have kids running around the house. They still coming in and out, and she's getting more and more and more agitated. Instantly. Hey, y'all come here. I need y'all to come. Boom, 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 boom. Pick up these toys. Go in your room, sit down, watch a movie. I'm hungry. Don't worry about it. Your snack is coming, or your food is coming. And a lot of people is like, all I do is like, when I get home, I expect a meal. Okay, that's pretty fine and dandy. I've never been the type of man to say, hey, babe, every time I get home, I need you to cook for me. Nah, that ain't...
I've even had my own grandmother be like, girl, you better make sure that man has that food when he get home, da da da. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. It took everything inside of me not to open that door, walk out, close it behind me, and leave my children in here by themselves and never show back up. It's like everything in me not to do that. And that's something that I'm doing every day. And you expect me to wrap my head around trying to make something for this man to eat when he gets home? Yes, granted, I want my husband to have something to eat. Yes, granted, I want to be able to do those things. But if I'm not mentally stable enough to even feed myself and remember to feed myself, what makes you think I'm going to be able to do it for him? And then on top of that, this man is a very picky eater. Granted, he cooks very well, but if he doesn't want it at that time, he's not going to eat it. And I've done it several times before when I've made him something to eat and he got home and he was like, I don't want that.
This is true.
What you mean you don't want that? Nigga, true. I just made you something to eat and you ain't going to eat it?
This is true. And then just a preference on explaining all of this. I never told her or expected her to do that. And that was something that we talked about at the very beginning. I was like,
gender roles.
I'm not that type of guy that's so hung up on gender roles. Like, I don't expect a fully cooked meal every time I get home. And then, two, I was like, if it is something like if I am tired, I will always say, hey, babe, can you take this out? Like, can you make something to eat before I get home? She has no problem with it. It's not like I'm expecting every time I get home to have a hot meal on the stove. I don't mind cooking. I actually love cooking.
I was just about to say that. So, 9 times out of 10, he's the one that wants to cook anyway. He'll take it out and be like, hey, he'll call me and be like, hey, can you take this out? And I'm like, okay, yeah. What do you want me to make with it? How do you want me to cook it? What do you want tonight? And he's like, no, just take it out. I want to cook it. I'll cook it tonight. And I'm like, okay, fine. You think I'm about to argue with him?
Yeah.
No,
and people,
you can cook.
And somebody asked me, is it the fact that can your wife not cook? I was like, no, she can cook really good. It's
I can throw down in the kitchen now.
It's just
he just enjoys it more.
I love cooking. That's my piece. Honestly, that's one of my joys is coming home.
I like to do the desserts. Granted, all the stuff that we're not supposed to eat, that's what I like to make.
Because you want dessert.
Stop it. But no, like with all of that, ladies also, this is a little tidbit that I want to give you guys before we end this episode. But ladies, in the midst of that, I know y'all just seen us act out kind of how it would be on one of those days where I would be frustrated and things like that. And granted, of course, I still have those moments and those days where I do respond like that, but it's not as often as it used to be. And I had to learn and understand that, hey, he's not going to know what's wrong if you don't open your mouth and tell him.
I am not the enemy.
He's not going to know what's wrong. You saying, oh, I'm fine. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Yes, of course, they hear that. And we try to do this reverse psychology thing on our men, and it don't work because they don't know nothing. They a little slow, just a little bit, slow. But
chill out now.
He doesn't know. He can't read your mind. So you have to let him know what's going on in your head. The same way I'm asking and begging for him to allow him to give his emotions a voice with me. You have to do the same thing with him. He's not going to know what's on your mind. If you're expecting him to do something, or you're wanting him to do something, or you're needing him to step up and help you in this particular space in your life, then you're going to have to say something. He's not going to know. He's not going to know what you want. So you have to open up your mouth and say something. And that's something that I'm still working on myself. This is not just something that I haven't mastered it yet. I haven't at all. Because I still have my moments where I'm like, I'm fine. And in my head, I'm like, nigga, you better know what's wrong. Go run me a bath right now. But I ain't say that. But I didn't say any of that. So how is he supposed to know? So
I showed him,
So it's something that it's still something that we're working on ourselves. But ladies, don't forget that you actually have to tell them what's going on, and you have to speak. You have to put words to your emotions and not just mannerisms. It's more than just your mannerisms that is going to get them to understand what you're feeling. And also, for my moms that stay at home, it's okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to say you're not okay. And I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm not about to cry on this first episode. We're not doing that. But it's okay to say that you're not okay.
Yep.
It's okay to have those moments where you need to call your husband and be like, look, baby, I understand that you're at work and I understand that you're busy, but I can't do this right now. I can't. I need you to come home now because I cannot make it through the rest of the day. And I've done that before. I've done that a couple times where I had to call him and be like, baby, look, I really don't want to bother you. I know you have a lot going on, but I am not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to go through the rest of this day without some help. I need some help. I can't do it. I just can't.
Is what you do. When you come home, you kick that door in and you go crazy. No, I'm all jokes aside, but no, when you do get home in those days,